welcome to As Media Changes. Today I want to talk about real-time event coverage. The real-time web has meant one huge thing for all of our audiences, and that's geographical freedom. People no longer need to physically be at an event to experience it. From around the world, they can watch videos, see live photos, participate in dialogue just as if they were there. What that means for all of us is that with a small increase in our investment, we can dramatically increase our reach. Why are we limiting ourselves to the amount of people that can physically come somewhere and sit in a room? It just doesn't make sense. That's a niche part of our audience. It's time for us to think big, embrace the real-time web, and find a way to make these events come alive online. Today I want to break down just a few key areas of what I think are instrumental parts of real-time event coverage and talk about how you can bring it all together for a cohesive presentation of an event online. The first one is dialogue, and that really just means Twitter, and this is what people are already doing really well. It means if you have a Q&A, take questions from Twitter, make sure you have a hashtag for your event, and then if you have an event page, a website that's actually covering the event, you can put a widget in that's scrolling with the latest dialogue in the back channel of what's going on. This is what people are already doing. This is the one area of real-time event coverage that people really have nailed down. The second one I want to talk about is real-time photos. We all hire photographers, or we take the photos ourselves, but then it takes hours, if not days, for these photos to get up online. And by the time they get up there, people just don't care. So there's a couple ways that you can really get photos live online instantly so people all around the world can watch. With technology like iFi, we can get it up there instantly. iFi has been talked about a lot lately. I'll link to some great blog posts below, but iFi is a wireless memory card that you can put in your camera, so when you take those photos, they can instantly go up online. And they can also instantly go to a computer of your choice. So what that means is you can send those photos to a social photo sharing site like Flickr, tag it, and then create a slideshow from Flickr that's instantly pulling all those photos in. And that means on your website you can have photos that are literally updating live as the photographer's taking those photos. iFi is like $99. It's an amazing product. I really think everyone needs to own one. Here's another thing about real-time photos. Why aren't we crowdsourcing event photography? Everybody has smartphones or camera phones these days. It's time for us to utilize that and let the people at these events take the photos for us. Off the top of my head, I can think of 3 easy ways for them to do that. The first way is to ask people to post photos to Flickr if they have an account and tag it, just like you can with iFi, and you can actually pull all those photos in that way. The second way you can do it is to actually have people post it to Twitter with a specific hashtag. You can then use a site like Twicey, which will actually search all the photos being shared on Twitter, and then you can pull an RSS feed out of that. And if you're good at flash coding, it should really not be that much of a challenge for you to put a slideshow together that's pulling the latest photos from Twitter from everyone that's sharing them there at the event. And finally, if you really want to have full control, you can just have people email the photos to an email account where someone is manually generating a slideshow to go up on a website. So the next time you have an event, the photographer should be using an iFi card, so those photos are getting up online instantly so people don't have to wait, and you should be utilizing your audience to take photos for you. And finally, the most obvious element of real-time event coverage is live webcasting. These days you either are live webcasting your events or you're trying to figure out how. There's really 3 key ways that you can live webcast. The first one is in-house with your own Flash server. The problem being with that, though, is that it's incredibly expensive if you don't already have one. And scalability is an issue. How many people can you actually handle watching the stream at one time? The second way to do it is to outsource and just hire a private company. Right now in higher ed, this is how a lot of schools are live streaming commencement. The problem with this, though, is that it's just not a viable solution for the future. As we begin to live webcast more and more events and our audiences come to expect it, how can we afford to hire these companies as often as we want? And finally, the last one is web-based solutions, which means sites like Ustream.tv, Justin.tv, and Livestream.com. These sites are completely free and they're social media friendly. They integrate Twitter and chat rooms, and they're really great and easy to use. The big problem, though, and it's a deal breaker for a lot of people, is they run overlay ads. So it's lower third ads that run on the bottom of your videos every 5 to 10 minutes. If it is a deal breaker for you, there are a couple other solutions. One is Bamboozer. It's a web-based site that still is completely ad-free. I reviewed it recently. I was not very impressed with it, but again, it's ad-free. And the other one is that Ustream does offer a white label version called Watershed, which means you can actually pay, currently it's about $1 per viewer per hour, to have the ads removed. So those are the 3 ways that you can live stream your events right now, whether it's in-house, outsourced, or web-based. The reality is none of those solutions are perfect by any means, but you need to figure out one of those ways and go ahead and give it a try. Finally, let me just say that it's not just about real-time photos or video or Twitter. Real-time event coverage is about taking the experience of physically being somewhere and bringing it online. And if you utilize these tools, you can present a cohesive experience that will rival that of being there physically. Just to give you guys an idea of what I'm talking about, let's take a look at what commencement might look like covered in real time this spring. You go to a website and in the center you see live video coming through just like you did last year and the year before. So from anywhere in the world you can watch the event as it happens. But also to the right you see two slideshows. The first slideshow on top is coming from the photographers on the floor. Using iFi cards, you're watching the photos instantly as they're taken. And the bottom slideshow is crowdsourced from anyone in the room. So as people are snapping photos with their smartphones, they're instantly getting updated so you can watch the photos that they're taking as it happens. And to the left is a Twitter widget with the conversations going through as people discuss the event, talk about the speakers, and congratulate each other. What you've done is you've taken the experience of physically being a commencement and you've actually brought it alive online. And that's a lot more than just live webcasting an event. It's about literally taking that experience and bringing it to life.